Hi y'all, I'm Allison. Welcome to the January Start and Stop Buddy Read. We are going to be reading Weyward by Emilia Hart this week. So this was recommended by Stacy L. I had asked everyone to submit a book from a list that you've got going. And Stacy is trying to read at least one book from each category of the GoodReads Choice Awards. So 2023, Weyward won for historical fiction and debut novel. So we're going to join her and read this following our little buddy read with the twist format, because I also asked Stacy to provide us stopping points. So she's given us 3, which means we will have 4 videos. I will be reading the book on camera, reacting and speculating as I go through the pages. Once I reach Stacy's first number, the video will end and I will set it aside for at least 24 hours. And then come back, start up another video, and proceed on to the next stopping point. This allows us the opportunity to, let everything that happens kind of sink in. And we can also speculate and discuss things together as we're slowly making our way through this. It's been a lot of fun up to this point, and I really hope you'll join us if this is your first time to do it. Be warned, there are trigger warnings for this book for domestic abuse, rape, and abortion. So if that is concerning for you, then you may want to look a little deeper into the content warnings. It's not actually on the book. These were tagged as such on a Storygraph. So there is that. I know a few people have decided to opt out this month for those reasons. I don't blame them. I personally am very apprehensive. So we will see how I get along with this, because domestic abuse is one of the things that I just avoid those in my books. And we will just leave it there. So I'm very apprehensive about this, but at the same time, kind of looking forward to it too. We will see which way the scales go. It depends on how it's handled. I don't know. I'm nervous. And I'm also curious to see if we will agree with the GoodReads award system, because, I don't know about that. It seems like that system, it needs some work, because, nobody's reading all of the books in every category. So we won't get into that. We can discuss that later on. As a fun little side thing, I thought I would start a reading challenge on Storygraph, kind of keep with our list idea theme going, and create a challenge for anybody who wants to track the books that we read throughout the year of 2024. So I will be making that after this video is done, so hopefully it'll be ready by the time the video goes up. If it is, I will give you the exact title down in the description. If not, look for the title in our next video, part 2, which will be coming out on Tuesday. So I thought it would be fun to have like a recap of the entire year of our buddy reads that we did for the year. I wish I had thought of this last year from the very beginning, but we can start it here. Just so you know, you can still get a book into the running for the February Start and Stop Buddy Read. You have until 6 p.m. on Wednesday, January 17th. And the theme for February is an author you love, to go along with Valentine's. So if you want, you can add a book that can go on our wheel, and maybe it'll be chosen for February. I will put a link for that video down in the description, and I will also put it on the end screen. So if you want to hop over there and suggest an author that you absolutely love, and you want more people to love them as well, there's your opportunity. Now, before we proceed any further, I have to give the warning. This thing is going to be chock full of spoilers, obviously. So if you have stumbled upon this by chance, or kind of jumped the gun a little bit and haven't started reading yet, then you are sadly going to want to close this video, but then come back after you have your copy of Weyward and you have reached our magical paragraph, which will be at the top of page 93. And it began, "It was romantic," she told herself the next morning, "the way he undid her trousers, ... So you definitely want to have read up until that point before watching any further in this video, because I'm about to go move into the other room and get comfy and start reading the first 93 pages of this. I will see y'all in just a moment. All right. One thing I forgot to mention, Stacy L did say that if she had realized about the content warnings, she probably would have picked another book. So, Stacy, it's okay. I wouldn't have thought to check either. We will just see how it goes, you know, see what everybody thinks about it. Maybe it's not going to be as bad as, you know, we fear. Hopefully it won't be anything too in-depth, because we will have 3 timelines in this. So I would assume it's not going to focus on all of that too much. I hope. So we've got Lily in my new blanket from my son's girlfriend. It's actually got sleeves and a pocket in the front. It'll come in really handy in the next couple of days, because that Arctic blast is about to hit. Oh, and there was one other thing. This is our first one that is not a mystery / thriller. So I'm really curious to see how our little format's going to work with a historical fiction, magical realism. All right, I am diving in. Let's see how it is. I am excited for this book, but apprehensive, as I said. I do love the cover. It's gorgeous. You know, I don't know that I've read Macbeth from cover to cover. Of course, I'm familiar with it, but I don't think I've actually read it. I need to do that. Okay, I will say, based on our very short prologue, I think we're probably going to be in for a treat. I already like her style of writing, and I think that's a good sign, right? It's a very strong start from Altha's point of view. Okay, I think we might be in for a good time, Stacy, based on that. I think Lily is sensing my distress. Okay, I am very, very grateful that it immediately went to her escaping that situation, and to know that she had a plan and she's out of there fast. I have a feeling we're going to get more of her relationship with her husband through flashbacks, but at least she's on her way to being safe right from the very beginning. So that's one of my concerns, kind of laid to rest. I was afraid that it would take at least halfway through the book before she even escaped her situation. So I'm not going to dwell on anything before that and just move on. Although I do like the writing style. She set the tone quite perfectly, beautifully done, I think. So when Violet was first introduced, it kind of seemed like she was just going to be an entitled, spoiled girl that was just complaining about, it's not fair, you know, as far as, you know, her brother being able to go to school and everything. And that's simply just because of the dire situations that both Altha and Kate start their stories in. You know, Violet's just over here complaining about not being able to take a Latin class. Seems quite trivial. But as you read further into her chapter, you know, she doesn't even know her mother's name. Her father is quite abusive, and she's never left the estate. She's never been to the village or anything. So, you know, I think her plight is just as bad as the other two. At least it has the potential to be. Not that I'm wishing ill on her, but you know what I mean. And she might also give us a little bit of a break, maybe, from all of the turmoil from the other two. I don't know. We will see. So I don't know what they're implying with Violet and her mother. I guess maybe this is where the magical realism comes in. I guess she talks to the animals. My heart goes out to Altha. Again, I'm really impressed with how she's able to paint a scene so quickly. So I like that. That's kind of morbid, the row of animals hanging from the fence as Kate's driving up to the cottage. Okay, with all of the references to the insects and the bee and everything, I would assume that Violet is Kate's aunt. At least that's a guess, her great aunt. Timing could be right, 42, maybe. God, and Kate's husband, the control that he had over her, and oh God, she is pregnant. Her thinking is right. If she has a baby with him, the child would be definitely abused. He'd probably end up killing them both. Okay, that was kind of wild with the dead crow from the fireplace, and all of a sudden it came alive. Okay. I think Lily's cold. I thought she was trying to comfort me. I think she's just cold. Maybe it was a little bit of both. So I wonder if her Violet's father is planning to marry her off to the cousin Frederick. That would be my bet. Okay, I had to take a little break. My mom just got home from the store. So it was when Kate was crossing the street with her dad to go to school. Did the crow lure her back into the road, or did the crow call her to safety? I think, because if it wasn't for the crow, would they have made it across the street? No problem. And by the way, I was not expecting that for her father to be killed. I can't even imagine how horrific that would be to witness. Finley's walking over Lily. In case you missed that. A reminder of what she was done. So I guess, yeah, if she hadn't turned back for the crow, they would have made it across the street. Of course, you know, she shouldn't be blaming herself. Okay, we're back on Altha. So far, I think I like her storyline the best, but we've also heard from her the least, so can't get comfy because somebody's hogging the couch. What in the world did she, why did she rip off part of her skin? I don't. Okay. Okay, so she's got a spider in her hair. Okay. I don't know if y'all can see it, but Finley's over here making muffins on Lily's back. I don't know that they got the memo that cats and dogs aren't supposed to get along. I'd move the camera a little bit better, but I know if I do, they'll move anyway. So Lily's head is right here, and Finley's laying on Lily. Okay, so her trial's beginning, and he's convinced that she's guilty. Meaning, I guess the judge. Okay, I'll admit, I'm getting a little tired of all of the plant talk and nature and stuff. It's like, okay, can we get to it? Again, I get a little impatient. It's okay there. I angled it down a little bit so y'all can see what's going on with the pets, because Lily just left the couch with a long stretch. And Finley has taken her spot. God, where are you going? I think Lily wants to come back up here, but I'm here. She's trying not to step on me. Oh my God. So I now have the corner of the couch. Oh my God. I may move over to that one. Anyway, I'm getting a little impatient with just reading about descriptions of plants and things like that. I just took my bookmark. No, let go. No. Okay, so Violet has locked herself up in the house thinking that if she stays indoor, maybe her father won't send her to the finishing school. It seems like she's shriveling away, I guess being cut off by nature. I am curious about her mother, though. So far, that's really the only thing that sparked my curiosity in this. In the first few pages, I was really impressed with the writing style, and like I said before, now it's kind of, I feel like I'm slogging through it. Granted, I'm only on page 44. I'm probably not being fair. Okay, maybe when her cousin arrives, something will happen. He's due the following day. That's sweet that her brother gave her, what is it, damselfly? I don't know what a damselfly is. Is that a dragonfly? I'll have to look it up. Okay, so she finally found the word Weyward scratched in the baseboard in the room. Okay, so she was standing up for herself at the beginning of her marriage, talking about Kate. She said that he was her problem. He was trying to get her to quit her job. So she had gotten out, and then she went back when he threatened to kill himself. And she quit her job. At least she didn't go back to him this time. And that's sadly what happens a lot of time. They just go back to their abuser. So Kate's walking through the village, and she just passed a stone structure that was probably a jail back in the day, and I'm betting that's where Althea was confined. Violet is her great aunt. Okay, we've got a little bit of foreshadowing that things might turn out well for all three of them, because the cashier tells Kate that she's going to be all right. It's in her blood after all. So, little glimmer of hope for them. Is anybody else finding it a little jarring, bouncing back and forth so quickly between the three storylines? Because it's just like, I'm finally starting to get into one, and then we switch again. So, and normally I love alternate POVs, but this is, I guess probably the difference is it's 3 different timelines as opposed to just perspectives of the current moment. But I'm sure Althea's mother probably had quite a bit of backlash after Grace's mom ended up dying and she wasn't able to save her. But we will see. And how sad is it that Violet can't even know her mother's name? So I wonder if her father's going to discover the missing feather and what the significance is of it. Apparently, maybe those are the magical birds, the ones with the white specks in their feathers. As it was mentioned at, what's her face's? Kate's cottage as well. I feel for Kate's plight. I really do. But I'm starting to get a little sick of her with, her not wanting to tell her mom anything because she's heard her mother again like she always, I know she's been abused. She's had a very rough life, especially after her father died. But, okay, I guess I have to take my complaint away because she is a victim, no doubt, and she is that's going to affect everything, but it's just hard to, I'm assuming she's not going to, she obviously hasn't told her mom any truth about her marriage, and I don't think she's going to tell her, so hopefully she's not setting herself up for her mom to try to help by sending the abusive husband to her, hoping that they get back to, you see so many books that's the path it goes. It just gets infuriating. So, okay, I'm coming off my soapbox. Okay, at least she told her, don't tell Simon where I am. And her mother will probably pick up on that, the fact that she said that and then hung up quickly. That would be my guess. Oh, okay, so it does tell you a damselfly is a dragonfly, similar to a dragonfly. Oh my God, she's describing her husband after the stampede. His face wasn't there anymore. Oh, quite graphic. Yeah, so there's the backlash from her mom trying to help Grace's mom. They're gonna make it look like they killed Grace's mother. Okay, the courtroom scene was quite dramatic. But of course, now that it's going, we are switching timelines again back to Violet. Okay, so Frederick just had his little speech about his response when Violet asked if he had killed anyone. So he's definitely going to be, I would say he's going to have some violent tendencies of his own, probably brought on by his experiences with the war. So I think he's got a lot of repressed anger. And I predict that Violet will end up, her father is going to give her to Frederick as wife, and that anger is going to be directed at her. But hopefully I'm wrong. I wonder who Rupert is. So, oh, this is for Violet's mother. Rupert writes of setting eyes on Elizabeth on May Day. So he was in love with her mom. Well, so now it's trying to draw parallels between Simon and Kate to Rupert and Elizabeth Violet's parents. Okay, I just hit the first stopping point. So I'll admit I'm kind of struggling with this, not for the reasons that I expected. The content warnings, fortunately, at least so far, I'm glad to see that the domestic abuse isn't necessarily the crux of the whole book and everything. It's definitely proponent, but I don't think it's not dwelling on it as much as I feared at the beginning. So I am relieved by that. I am, however, having a hard time connecting to any of the characters, even though they are all facing their own personal hells. I'm not invested in them at all. So I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way. I don't know if it's the constant bouncing with the chapters being so short. But I'm like, yeah, you've had a bad run. And you shouldn't feel that way. And I think, too, all of the infinite emphasis on the nature and everything, every time we go back into that, I get pulled out of it. I think that's where my disconnect is. So I'm curious to know if anybody else is struggling with that. And granted, we are probably about, 29% of the way through the book. I don't see this as historical fiction, to be honest, and it did win that category. So I'm really curious to see what other books it was up against. Of course, I will have a better feel for that as we get further into the book. Maybe the historical aspect will come to the forefront, but so far, I'm not seeing that. I'm reading this more as literary fiction, with a heavy emphasis on nature. That's my take of it. So I'll be curious to see if y'all agree with me on that. I am no longer apprehensive of the book, so at least there's that. We'll see if that changes, because it might. So we do need to find out what our next magical paragraph will be. So let me grab my notes and I will tell you. And for those of you who want to track our Start and Stop Buddy Reads, I will create that challenge today on Storygraph. And I don't need a complicated title. It's going to be 2024 Start and Stop Buddy Reads. So if you search for that or send me a friend request, you can find it that way. Then if you want to join and check them off as we move through the year, that will be there for you. Okay, our next magical paragraph will be 51% of the way into the book on page 168. I know we have some audiobook listeners, and that will put you roughly at about 5 hours and 32 minutes into the book, and it's going to be towards the end, like the last page of chapter 25. So it'll be somewhere in chapter 25 as far as your timestamp. Okay, you're going to stop when you reach, damn you. I hope you rot in hell like your whore of a mother. So how is that for a cliffhanger? When you reach that one, stop and close your book. So now if you have come to this after we have already completed reading this and you're not waiting for the next video to come out, then I'm going to ask you to wait 24 hours before you pick your book up and start reading again, to give you a little bit more time to digest everything that's happened to this point. For those of you who are reading along with me in real time, you can now pick your book back up, and you will have until day after tomorrow at noon to read up to that next stop, which is 51%. All right, I'm really looking forward to hearing what y'all think about the book so far, to see if y'all are in agreement with me. You're kind of like, okay. Or if, you're getting a little bit more out of it at this stage of the game. I'm sure that things will pick up with our next stop. We will see, of course. All right, I will see y'all the day after tomorrow. Bye.